and Shirley to get on, so we'll be about 5 minutes. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. We got the Cultural Committee. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
How are you today? Tony, we were kind of waiting for Shirley, but we can go ahead and get started.
Okay. I think she's on her way. Okay. I don't remember where we left off last time. Is there anything in particular that the council would like to know before we?
Anybody have any issues that they'd like them to address?
It's
Doesn't-
always good when there's no issues.
Actually, Carol's got something. Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, Tony, I was just curious, have you, I know we're all getting older here, but have we done any succession planning for the culture committee? Are you, not that I'm trying to get rid of you or anything, but I think all the departments are starting to think about, there's always, gonna be time when we move on. And just curious if the culture committee has put much thought into that.
I have, but I don't know if anybody else has. It's with everything going on and health wise, age and all that good stuff. I'm looking at the possibility of stepping down here in the next year or so after this new fiscal year. I've been planning on it for a while. My health hasn't been 100%. And there's just a lot of things going through my mind right now. But that was my personal target date, Kate, is after this next, at the end of next fiscal year, I was planning on stepping down, and I was hoping that I could find somebody, putting 40 years, 46 years here.
Mhm.
You become, how do you become, I don't know, ingrained. You become something that you feel like you created something that you just don't want to set it aside. And I'm trying to find, hopefully I could find the right person. And I would hope that the council would allow me to be a big part of that process, that big part of that choosing of who my successor is. And I feel like it's important to keep the continuity of what's been going on for 46 years. And I feel like that I want someone that has the same feelings, same thoughts, same goals, same gratitude of our language, our culture, and the importance of it, knowing how without that none of us would be sitting here. None of us would have that right to sit here and say, this is why I'm here. There's only one reason why we're here to sit, because we are recognized as a tribe, as a people, as Salis or Kadisper or whatever. That gives us the right. And I want that continuity, to continue. I want that to be the goal of our next generation, the next generations to come. Because we all know that every year it gets harder and harder to defend our nation, to defend our values, our way of life, our sovereignty. Our sovereignty is very important, that we continue to run and govern and care for our people, the tribal way, the tribal, that we don't incorporate the outside world way of values, because our values as a tribe, as a people, nation, is what has kept us intact for over 12,000 years. And through the stories, the information that we have verifies and all of those things that are important to maintain as a tribe. And so, yes, I would hope that I would have a big input in making a big selection on that. And I just don't want somebody to take a left turn and, it takes a hard road and a long time to build the building blocks, a foundation. And so I've been been thinking of that. And as time goes on, it becomes more and more important to me and more urgent. And, I sit here and think about those first elders that I started out with. We had over 20 elders, very fluent, very knowledgeable people that has taken us through the first years of this program. And when they pass on, we have the next generation step up. And, there's a change because the next generation are younger. They come through a different time. Those first elders, a lot of them lived those times of the past. They lived those hunting, they lived those camping, they lived those stories, they lived all those things. And so it was easy for them to pass on with their knowledge that was given to them by their parents and grandparents. And as time goes on, it's harder. It's struggle, and we want people here. We have new people stepping up, learning and understanding, and we want them to be those same people that we started out with when the program first started. And the stronger we are as tribes, as people, the longer we're going to survive as people. And it's very difficult. Like I said, it's a struggle every day to prove or to try to reestablish, I guess, to the outside world that we belong here. We're not Indians. We're natives. We didn't come from India. We've been here. We've always been here. You listen to our creation stories. You listen to the stories from our elders who have talked about how we got here, how we survived, how we evolved here. And then the stories that they gave us, the place names, stories from all these place names establishes the existence of the people that were here, our people that were here, and their footprints that are all over our Aboriginal territory and continue to be there. And those are the things that we have to keep alive. We have to take those. And we can't change history. What happened in the past happened. Where we existed, we existed. Where we started from, that's where we started. We can't change, we can't alter to make ourselves feel better or to make somebody else feel better. No, we have to stay with those very truths that our elders have given us. We have to stay with that honest respectful way that they shared their stories and gave us their stories. You know, and I'll repeat what those elders said. My stories are not my stories. That's what my elders used to say. My stories are, our stories. Those stories come from thousands of years back. Those are the stories that were given from generation to generation to generation. And that's what has kept us strong and build. How we conduct ourselves as a tribe, how we conduct ourselves as a family, as a community, as individuals. That's who we are. That's the gifts that were given to us. The Creator, the animals, that came here before us, our creation stories that taught us and gave us this gift of life, this gift of this world that we live in, and gave us those stories. This is how you live. This is how you do things. He gave us everything. The animals gave us everything to build on. And we have been building on that for over 12,000 years. And the longer we pass that on, carry that on, the longer we survive as a nation. So I hope that answers the question.
Tony, I wanna say that I don't ask the question to be disrespectful, because I really trust and cherish, what you have to offer, and it means a lot. So I hope I didn't, you asked me to ask a question, and that's been on my mind. I worry about who's going to take, that position on, because we're all going to move on, and we know the tribe doesn't just disintegrate because we're gone. It'll continue on, but to know that you're thinking about somebody to succeed, to come in after you, it gives me some comfort to know that. And if I'm still here, and then also, I've been concerned about, what's down there and making sure that it's all preserved. And I know it is, but you just never know. You hear talk and you wonder, wow, anything could happen. And so I just appreciate your strength, but I'm also now wondering, with that question asked, I'm also wondering about the organizational chart, if it allows us to give you that opportunity to put somebody in there that you designate for us to designate in there. I think it does, because, ultimately we are the final decision maker, but I would hope that we could at least retain that prerogative to allow you to do that. I don't know, I guess it's a discussion we'll have to discuss as roles for council on if that's going to be allowed, because in the org chart, you are down the ways, but we haven't still made a decision on whether we're going to move them back up where they were or keep them down where they are now. And I don't mean down, I mean, just on the org chart down. So I like the idea of putting them back where they were advisories to the council, advocates to the council. I like that position for our culture committees, because they are so meaningful and powerful to us as a tribe and an organization and all this in everything we do. So anyway, thank you, Tony, for your answer. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. Jen actually handed me the email, Tony, and I guess it was any issues and topics the cultural committees would like to discuss or give an update on. The other was the resolution 21-085, Tony, which was to signify the tribe's desire and commitment to fully integrating the traditional cultural values and languages into daily lives or individuals within the reservation, consistent with the tribe's mission and vision. It was the resolution of our priorities. And the other topic was for medical marijuana. So maybe that'll remind you what we had.
Okay. Okay, I'll start just a little bit here as already mentioned, what Carol's question is that, the role, I look at as the role of our program, I guess, has always been a role of advisory, of guidance, of cultural and language, not only revival, but retaining, mainly because of the, as I mentioned, to keep established, or in many ways to keep building on that foundation as on the strength of who we are as a people. In any country, any nationality, the language is and the culture is the basis of their identity, of who they are. The elders of the past have always said that, we need to, we all have a role, we all have a purpose in what we do as Native people, as individuals, and as communities. And those differences, those roles are important in forming and keeping us strong. I remember one of the elders said, the day, even in our creation stories, they talk about when the day comes, when Sinchile went through here and prepared what we have and gave us what we have and tried to give us a perfect world, which, he didn't quite succeed in giving us. He failed in some of the things, but it gave us the majority of what we need and how to live as a people. Well, through that process, we learn of many different things, and that the role of our people is the same, that we must maintain that foundation for the next generation, for our children and grandchildren. A lot of the people never had the honor and the privilege and the opportunity as some of us, because of the dominant society, who had tried to make us what we're trying to avoid, what our elders have always tried to avoid, and that is to put us in one place. And they always said, the animals have always said, when the day comes, when we start all acting alike, when we start talking alike, when we start doing things alike, there is no reason for us. That will be the end. That's why each tribal nation is so different. They're individual nations, they're individual languages, individual cultures, individual beliefs, individual values. That's what creates the world that we live in. That gives us the strength that the animals gave us. But when the time comes where, the federal government have always tried, is to put all tribal nations in one pot. And that is to control. That is to take away the strength of who we are. That is to take away our beliefs, our way of life, our simple things. To some degree, they succeeded. They succeeded in things like taking our responsibility away from raising our children, taking our responsibility away from living the way we're supposed to live and putting us on a reservation. They succeeded in those ways. And today, that's why a lot of our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren are lost because of that, because they took our culture, they tried to take our language, they tried to take a lot of things away from us. And when they did that, they took our strength as tribal nations. They took that away from us to weaken us, to control. And now with our language programs, with our culture committees, all of that is starting to revive, is starting to come back and making us strong again. We're taking control of a lot of different things that wasn't there, that they took from us. Look at how we succeeded in our water rights. Look at how we succeeded in the Bison Range. Look at how we succeeded in the highway. Look at all the how we succeeded. Successful in a lot of these things as a tribe, mainly because of the things that were passed down to us from our elders, from our ancestors. It's not because that was written in a book or anything. No, these were passed down from generation to generation. And that's what we're trying to do again. We're trying to keep that rolling. So the next leaders, the next teachers, the next whatever will have this knowledge and they'll have that strength. They'll stand a little taller because they know who they are and where they come from and who their leaders were, where their strength come from. And as a culture committee, I think that's what we try to do. That's what we try to bring out back. And our elders are those people that guide us in those directions. They remind us about those things. And so, to me, that's one of the main things that's important. Not only to my program or my staff or my community, but to the tribe as a whole. You know, we have that strength coming from those stories from our elders, that information, that guidance. So with that, I'll let somebody, the elders, other elders speak up on whatever issues that you were just talking about. If you have anything, elders, go ahead.
Am I the only elder? Anybody else?
Anybody? Stephen, Shirley? Let's see who, trying to look down here.
Mary Jane, you got anything to say?
Mary Jane, she was on here. Oh, there she is. Turn your mic on. Your microphone.
You're still muted, Mary.
You're still
Jane.
off, Mary Jane.
Now?
There she is.
Wow.
Okay. I know what happened. I'm at work. We didn't say anything about the road closures. Was
Okay,
we discuss that?
go ahead.
Okay. Well, when I talked to Sadie, I told her that I thought that tribal members should be able to go up and camp and fish and do the things they enjoy doing up in the mountains before anybody else, because it's our land. And going up and being crowded out by non-tribal members. And I think that's so wrong. And I think it's like, they have the whole state of Montana and the whole rest of the United States to go around and feel welcome in those places. You know, they don't need to come in over on ours like the Amish do. They sneak around and pick our berries and stuff and do other things, camp around. But I'm all for closing it all down again. That's, you know, I really enjoy going up in the mountains, but it takes a little bit of enjoyment off when I see non-tribal members or people that, you know, they're up there just raising heck, you know. But I'm all for that. Just shutting it down to everybody. If they can't show proof that they're a tribal member or first descendant, or if they don't have a permit if they're with their family. But I just really wanted to say that, so. That's it.
Joanne,
Go ahead, Steve.
I was shut off for a while. You know, what Tony was saying, but who's going to take whose place? And that's pretty scary, you know. For me, they always say we're full bloods, Ponderay. I've been teaching going on 19th year here. I was just talking about it this morning with my teachers, with what I come through with Pete Beaverhead. And I always say Uncle Pete Beaverhead was like my teacher, my dad, and whatever. And today, I talk to my students, like Echo and all those guys. And they always say, we need you another 10 years to teach us down there at Usum. So I look at the children. I go out there this morning, they were out there, and I talked Indian, Skadi, Kasquex, then they all come and they give me a big hug and everything. And the thing is, you know, I've seen the elders. I lived through the elders. A lot of us, you know, Inkashulas, Woodcocks, just go down the road here, you know, McDonald's, and we talked Indian, and we try to hang on to that language. And like my uncle always say, don't ever let go of our language, our ways, you know. And I've been thinking of what Tony was saying this morning, just a while ago. And just like you said, my health wasn't good, and I'll talk about my health, you know. I talk pretty good in Skadi, in Indian, and I was raised that way. I've been with the Indian people all the time. And Uncle Pete used to say, it's going to change. Life is going to change. Our language, our ways, our what, you know. And we're trying to hang on to that. Our language, our way, our old ways. And it's hard. It's really hard, you know. Like Tony was saying, I was there 46 years. He was 46 years. And I remember when I was very young, I used to go down there and see all these old people, you know, blind moles and all these people around the table, and all they had was this little mic, they're talking to us, and just steady. All they're talking just Indian. And listen to them. Who's going to take whose place? Who's going to take, this language, this elders and all this other things, uh, who's going to take their place? We got to watch who's going to take whose place. Just like Gene Beaverhead, he has to take, he said he's going to take 6 months off. And he said to us as adults, this is the way I want it. Then when I come back, I want it the same way, where I left. I understand that, he talks Indian, he writes Indian, and he doesn't want to come back and be all different, Yeah, it's all be different. And when he comes back on board, and that's pretty scary, we got to watch that, and that's what scares me, If I'm gone, well, I'm gone. No, I'm not going to ghost anybody, but who's going to take my place, And I really tried hard to talk just steady all day. I talk Indian all day at Kusum, teaching. And I watch what's going on. And we are moving forward. We are. And I'm glad of this, When I'm Pat Pierre, was down there, Sophie, Kwikusu, Maze, we talked just steady, just Indian. We talk Indian all the time. And anyway, I look back at it and pretty soon we start to change, And I remember when somebody went in there and tried to talk steady with the council, teach the councilmen. I was happy about that, I don't know what happens. But to me, it's sad, it's really sad. My heart is really sad when one of our people die, that know the language, and even the elders. There's a lot of them died, and I get lonesome for Uncle Pete and Mose and all these people, that used to talk Indian. It's sad, to me, And I was just thinking about Tony, He's my first cousin. His mother and my mom were sisters. And the thing is, I don't know what's going to happen, I hope he stays here another 10 years, but he said his health ain't good. But I just don't want anybody in there, I don't have the control, to have somebody that could talk Indian and be on the right trail, It's hard, and Gene's been gone, and we have to get somebody else to take his place until if he comes back, in 6 months. And so we got one of chaining them from his class, to take his place, He's good, and I hope the same way, I hate to think about this, I hate to think ahead of my time, but us, but us elders, that's way up there, know the language and understand it and what they come through, Just like I said, and I'm not lying about this. I seen the Blue Jays. My dad was a Blue Jay Quinta was one. What they could do, fixing people up, and it's all gone, to me. I'm just talking for myself, and it's sad. Yeah, it's sad. We could go up in the mountains and get our medicines from the roots and whatever. Even myself, I go downtown and see a doctor. And they know, the doctors know I'll be back. So anyway, that's all I have to say. And I think about Tony all the time. I call him up sometimes and see what's going on. Are we going on trips? Are we going on? I think about him. I think about all the elders too. So that's all I got to say. And we could talk about marijuana after a while, I guess. So I'll shut up right now. Thank you. Dum-dum.
Anybody else got something they want to talk about? I don't see Tony back on there.
Shirley, Cory? Shirley?
Oh, I guess I just think about what we've lived through, what our folks lived through. And it's so divided. There's people out there who are tribal members, but they live different lives. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's just different. We have different ways of thinking. And that makes it hard for our people. Those of us that lived a tribal cultural way of life. We grew up being close with each other, with everybody. We helped each other out. Our families got close, were close in ways of caring for each other. They visited, spend days visiting. That's how they kept the culture alive. I don't see that happening anymore. My elders are gone now. And it's just a hard time. It's a different time. And I don't know any answers. There's so many different things that happened already. Like there's so much alcohol addiction, drug addiction. And our young people, they don't know their relatives. I know that's the case in some of my family. And sometimes youngsters try to get together, and I'm the one mostly who speaks up and say, you know, that's not right. We don't do that in our ways. But some, I know, you know, people don't like anyone interfering in their lives. But the way it was, I believe, a long time ago, everybody was involved in a person's life, in everybody in their tribe. We lived here in Mission, but there was people from Arlee would come to our house and visit, spend time. And that's where you hear about how life should be lived. Like I've heard, it takes a village to raise a kid. That doesn't happen anymore for most people. Yeah, I get concerned about the young people, about their strength to be able to overcome things in life that are hard. And you know, those of us now who are alive, we've lived through some hard times. And I think that's why we're here today doing what we do, because we worked through those hard times, even if it hurt. And I just want to bring up the fact I've read that the council is working on something about mental health. My brother is having mental health problems. It's hard to see him that way. And I try to help him out as much as I can. And I bet you that's something that's called enabling him. But I'd rather do that than have him be taken out and somewhere and murdered just because he's different. So I hope that the council can find something for people with mental health. They're doing stuff for homeless people. And I think mental people with mental problems, they should be looked after too. There should be a place for them to go when they can't take care of themselves anymore. Someone there to take care of them all the time, to help them to be able to socialize, play games, cards. And we should have it here. That's the one thing I'm really thinking about these days. And I wonder when I get so I can't care for myself, who's going to take care of me? Uh, it's not funny, but it's funny. So I guess I feel like at least some of the kids I know in my family don't know nothing about spirituality. And that's really concerns me. What's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to us old people? Who's going to help us? Where are we going to go? But I will say that I'm grateful for my job. Even though I'm alone, I can always come here, listen to some recordings and work on them, and it makes me feel better. Some time ago, maybe 20 years ago, I could go in the woods or to the lake or to the river or something like that. And now I won't go anywhere by myself. Because I'm by myself, that means I don't go enjoy some of those places like I used to. So only go to Walmart and here and back home. Oh, and grocery shopping. So there's a lot of things as you get older that you think about. When you think, gosh, I remember when I used to have all kinds of people to visit with. But most of those people are gone. And everybody else has their own families to look after and spend time with. So that's my thoughts, and hoping for the best for our tribes, for our young people, for our little kids. Hopefully we can teach them some things that'll keep our reservation going for them. So they'll know their identity. They'll know I'm Salish or Kalispe. And this is what our people used to do, and this is how they got through those things. Hope we could teach them that. And to take care of everybody, to take care of family and friends and everybody. They don't have to be there 24 hours a day, but they could be there part of the time helping out. So I'm not going to say anymore. I hope somebody, one of the other elders, could speak and tell us their concerns. Lem for listening.
Oh, no.
Okay. Tamdam Cheryl,
Yeah.
bye.
It's hard to let people go. I know I always give thanks for Tony's good words. He always has good words for everybody. And I always am thankful to hear him talk and his little stories about our elders. And I always think about them, what they've gone through, what they did for us, their prayers for us. And to this day, what I try to do is to pray for them and give them thanks. And for now, you know, like Tony said, we went through that many years of battling for the water rights and the bison range. And look what happened. You know, it's here. And I hope that we can take very good care of everything the very best way that we can, so we can show people that we can manage these places, and pray that our people, the qualified people, are taking good care of these things, the water and the bison range. There's qualified people at the bison range that have been there many years, and I hope they are protected and taken very good care of, so they don't leave. Because just like every place else, we need to have those people that are experienced to take good care of everything. Just like Tony's position. You know, that is scary. Think about who could step in. It's got to be someone who is very knowledgeable, who has the history, the language, and can work with many people, all, even the Suyapis around here. And I just give big thanks to Tony. You know, that's one thing that I've thought of for a lot of years and up to this time. No one gets told how they're doing. They're doing a good job. Thank you for taking care of this. Or you did that. That was a good thing you did. You know, nobody hears that. And, you know, I don't know why that is. But, you know, there comes a time when people need to stop and take care of themselves. I understand that. And I hope that we can find someone good to shadow Tony for a while. But I hope Tony won't go too far. He'll be available for elders meetings. It's like what we're doing now. But, you know, and I give thanks for Inkusum, for Stephen, for Pat Pierre, for all of their hard work, for teaching. You know, I always thought of after I quit work, that's probably where I should have started, was went back to school and started from Inkusum. But, you know, there's a lot of things that need to be taken care of, and I hope they're taken care of in a good way. And, you know, all of these other issues, I don't, you know, that's hard to decide. Your concern, but I hope that you can reach out to the culture committees before, you know, certain decisions are made, or before it comes out in a resolution. You know, get the input first. I want to give thanks for Shirley too, and her hard work, her dedication, and hope that everyone can still continue on. You know, I feel that everybody's doing a good job at the culture committee and in CUSUM. I just hope that they can continue on and everybody can pick up on the language and everything that we need to know and learn, and not have to depend on Tony and Stephen and Shirley. You know, we need to do our part and know all of these things, our history, our culture, our language. Language.
Okay. Vi. Okay. Sadie, you got anything? She must be sleeping. Okay. I'd like to just add a little more about our natural resources, our land, what little we have left. And I'm very thankful for what little we do have left. You know, we're benefiting, riding on those visions, the hard work of our past leaders. You know, they've always had a vision of a beautiful, peaceful place for our people. And they've always worked hard for it. They sacrificed, they traveled, they fought. You know, considering what we have today and what they had then, the tools that they had to fight with, to go to Washington, D.C., to go to the government, to go to the territorial government, to go here, to go there. You know, nowadays we as tribal members, we don't travel without an attorney in our pocket. You know, then they didn't have any. They had used their own wisdom. That was the tools they had. But yet, look at us today. Look at us and how much they gave us. How much they cared so much about their vision for the future. You know, it wasn't for them. It was for us here sitting today. So caring for our lands, our environment is very important. That we always keep separate, that we don't mix what I call the Suyapi vision, I guess, along with our own vision. That we don't allow that to bleed to become our vision. That we maintain that vision of true identity as Sadish Kadispe and Kasanka people. People that, you know, I look back and all the leaders have that have given themselves to to provide and to protect what we have, so that we're careful. You know, everybody say, well, you hear people say, well, that was in the past. Well, the past is what allows us to be here. They say we need to move with the times. That's not necessarily true. All we're doing was keeping up with the Joneses. They get a new toy, we have to have a new toy. But what do we do in the meantime to get that new toy? Do we destroy? Do we mar our own land to do that? I think not. We have that responsibility sitting on our shoulders. We have the trust of our elders, of our ancestors sitting on our shoulders. And if we falter, if we look at the easy way out of progress, then we're not doing what we should be doing. We're not carrying that load. We're not doing what was taught to us. You know, we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different ways of upbringing. And some of it is not by choice. Because already some of our lives were already influenced by the dominant society, by the outside world. A lot of us never had that opportunity to be grown up with stern, strong cultural people. To say, don't do that. Or this and that. You know, when we used to be able to go anywhere, leave our homes unlocked, leave our cars parked anywhere, not to worry about it. And now just last week, we were broken into our shed here by our own people. Our own people that broke into our shed. For what? All of that respect, it has disappeared. I always blame the dominant society for taking that away from us, that responsibility. It's easier now to say, you take care of it, instead of me. You know, if I did something wrong, my grandmother would let me know I'd done something wrong. Once, maybe twice, she would remind me, and that's all she did. It was always that respect. And we need to do that with all of our, not just as a person, but our environment. What are we going to leave our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren? You know, today I'm proud of what our people left us, because we had a lot, considering what already was taken from us. But I want to make sure that we do the same thing, that we carry that responsibility for the next generation. That when we are a strong people. When we think about MVP, energy keepers, water rights, bison range, the forestry, lands department, how much they have changed and how much this tribe has pride in those, of taking control of the sovereignty that we have to run our own dam, to own our own dam, to run the utility, to control water and protect the bison that have been our protectors for thousands of years. Our forestry who is learning a way to work with nature, to work with things that the natural way, and how to care for our forests, how our forests become more and more healthy. I've seen some work out there that areas that have been worked on by forestry for years, and that how much that has changed, how I guess how clear, how natural it looks, you know, instead of suppressing the fires like we were taught by the dominant side. You gotta put it out, I gotta put it out. But you use fire to help. Fires are very strong. Used properly, they help. And then we have our greenhouse to reestablish and try to help our nature that has lost so many things through many different ways of destruction, that we try to replenish, that we try to put back what was once there. You know, our bitterroot areas, our camas areas, our medicine areas are disappearing. They're being encroached by different things. They're being destroyed. They're being developed. You know, they're all things that are part of us, that our life is a circle. Even though we might not eat these foods 365 days a year, it's still part of who we are. It's still a necessity to have it whenever we can. The medicines that are important, we might have to depend on it the way things are coming. The way the diseases are that are being brought here, we might have to depend on our own ways to survive for the next generation to survive. And our lands, you know, the process that we had to start with over 1 million acres of land that was almost stolen, taken off from us, that past leaders have gradually found ways of buying and getting back those lands, that buying our own land back that was taken from us. And we're getting to that point now too, where we reestablish our foothold, I guess, if you will, on what we own, what should have been ours, that was already stolen from us. So we have a lot to be proud of. We have a lot to be thankful as a tribe. All the things that was already taken from us, we're fighting. And these are the things that were taught to us. How to get these back for our people. And you know, I can hear a lot of the old people still talking about, we should do it this way. We should do it this way. And eventually people start listening to them. And now we've gotten to a point where we're getting better control, not only of our resources, but of our people. We need our people. We need our people to understand who we are. We need to understand where they come from. We need them to understand the importance of knowing those things. You can't just go out and say, hey, I'm Sedish or I'm Kadispe. And the government could say, prove it. What makes you CSKT? I'll say, well, but if somebody asked me, I could say, I have my language. I have my cultural values. That's who I am. That's what makes me different. I'm not like you. I'm not like the Suyap out there. I have mine. And then when we all get to that point, they're going to back off. They're going to say, they're too strong. We're already too strong in many ways because we've found ways to control a lot of our resources. We're already strong. They look to the Salish, the Salish and Kootenai people for that reason, because of the successes. And then we find out that a lot of things that were taken from us, started a long time ago. The boarding schools that tried so hard to take our spirituality, our culture, our prayers, our children, our language. But again, it's those strong people that hung on and found ways to hang on and get our language, get our culture, and get our values through this process. Once they did that, we got stronger again. And that's where we almost lost when they started trying to take our language, when you were punished for using your language. And they were punished so much that some of them never made it through it. But our elders found ways of doing it. My grandmother always talks about when her dad saved her from boarding school. They were just about ready to cut her long braids off when her dad walked in, and Isidore 3 Woodcocks took her and went home and saved her. Never got an English education. I always used to think that, gosh, that was too bad. But then I realized that was a gift for her to retain the language, which became my language in my ways. A lot of other tribal members didn't get that opportunity. They didn't get that chance. They were taken from their parents. Their language was lost. But my grandmother survived, therefore I survived. My language survived. And so for something that made, that the Suyapis made me ashamed of when I was younger, now has become something that makes me very proud. There's a lot of things that our people went through, past and present, that we have survived. Not because we were individuals, but because we were a tribe. Because we fought each other, we understood each other, we understood the necessity of our culture, of our way of life. And when I travel to our Aboriginal territories, it's very easy. It's very easy to see and to imagine our people out there camping, laughing, having a good time. They lived in a perfect world until 1492. And then things started to change. Things that we're starting to take from them to lose their way of life, their areas, accustomed places of living and growing. But That's a long time, 1492 to today, and we still survived because of good leadership, because of these people that fought and understood. You know, that's what I'm thankful for every day. Not because I can read, I can't read very well, but I can read. But what was given to me by those people is what I'm thankful. Our study, our land, our self, our water. We have that so much to be proud of. And now today, we are a mixed generation. And that's good. You know, before there was a pure Hadispe, pure Sedish, pure Sanka, everything. But over years, when things change in a marriage, allies with different tribes, and now we're mixed. Instead of separating, it makes us stronger. To think that we were allies, that I am part Nespers, because we were allies with the Nespers people through trade, through friendship, and through different things. You know, we are so strong, we are so blessed that we don't realize it. We always try to separate ourselves, and we shouldn't. And Gosam, that's what that means. Again, Gosam, we're one, we're family. And so there's a lot of things in our people's lives that try to tear us apart. And we have come through a lot of that. And now we talk about the different drugs, the marijuana, the prescribed drugs, the alcohol. You know, we came through a lot of that. We lost a lot of our people through drugs. I lost 2 brothers to alcohol. I lost a father to alcohol. And that means so much to me that I'm sharing it publicly to you. That took away part of my family because they ended up in car wrecks. And now today we talk about different things, different drugs. And you look back to our people. They had their own medicine. They used it for pain, to heal themselves, through medicine men, medicine women. It wasn't something that was toyed with and taken just for the fun of it. That was something that was a necessity, that was a gift to them. And today we have a lot of people, elders, that are hurting for different reasons, different ailments. Especially, a lot of our elders had a lot of arthritis. Arthritis is a crippling disease. It hurts. I got a little bit in my arm, and it's a constant pain. And some of our elders, that they still sit there and smile, still laugh, still talk while they're in pain. We have to find ways. We have to find ways to help them. You know, because they're too old to some of them are too crippled to go out and get their own medicines. So they go to the pharmacy. They go to the doctors. You know, sometimes you find a good doctor, sometimes you don't. And then they start giving you pills. Well, let's try this. No, let's try this. Let's try that. And pretty soon, you want more because they hurt so bad. Well, now the marijuana has come up. People say marijuana comes in many different forms. A lot of people say it can help those that are in pain. I'm not saying that it won't or it can't. But what I'm saying is, if it is for pain, if it is going to help my elders, if it's a guarantee, then they can use it. I don't see why they can try, because it comes in different, it comes in pills or it comes in different forms, I guess. But what I don't care for is that these people are hurting and they need medicine, while there's other people over here that want for recreation. Look out there, look outside. There's so much out there that you can do to recreate. If you were able to walk or to hike, that's the best thing. Some of us can't do that anymore. All we do is wish and dream, watch these people hike and envy them. Wish we could do that. But people want to use it for recreation. The same way as people wanted to use alcohol for recreation, to use drugs for recreation. For recreation, what's the recreation in that? I don't know. But if it helps the pain for the elders to prolong their life so they can enjoy it just a little bit more. Life is very, very precious. It's a gift. You only get one. You only get one. You know, someday, if I get hurting so bad, I might even look at taking a pill. But until then, there's other things that'll help. I won't need it. You know, there's a lot of things that we can do to help those in pain. You know, my grandmother, who had arthritis, you know, there was nothing that we have today that she could try. No shots, no nothing. So it was a constant pain. But there's a lot of things that we can do to really look at it. I wouldn't say jump in and say, okay, let's do that. Not like some of the doctors, let's try this, let's try that. Oh, look at it. Will it help? We have that responsibility to look at our elders and care for them, because when we were growing up, they cared for us. Well, I'm coughing. It's telling me to shut up. So I guess I better shut up here for a while. I want to thank you for listening. And, you know, like I said, we come from a long, long, long line of great leaders, great women, great men. That's why we're here today. It's our responsibility to carry it to the next level. Let's do it together. Let's think about the future generations, the next one. Let's give them a foundation they can grow on, they can stand on, they can be proud of. You know, a lot of kids, when they find out that they're related to one of the leaders in the past, oh, you ought to see them. They just kind of stand up a little taller, a little straighter. Hey, that's my cousin. I was related. That's my uncle. You know, they stand a little prouder. And their their light, I mean, their road becomes a little clearer. Ah, I know who I am. So let's just do that. Let's continue that. We have a lot of issues, and those issues will never disappear. As long as there's opposition, as long as there's another culture, there'll always be those issues. But we need to, as a tribes, as a group, as one, we need to be together to find answers for those issues. Then I think we run over our time again.
I enjoy it. Get to talk to you guys. We don't get that much time with you.
We were missing a couple here, but they never. Hopefully one day we'll be able to all meet face to face again, not Zoom to Zoom. Any elders, anybody else have anything to add before?
I think that Stephen,
Your mic's turned off. Your mic's off. Oh, he just left. Then go get his tech person.
IT person.
Yeah, IT.
Here he comes again.
Off again.
There you are.
Am I on?
Una.
Come on.
Okay, lucky I got Juanita. So yappy. See, I can't even do it myself. I have to have a suyapi. But anyway, glad Tony's been talking and about the elders. I don't know why when we go to the council, we got so much time, you know, we should have all afternoon with the elders, you know. You should respect our ways, you know. The thing is with me, I come to alcoholic, you know. I was an alcoholic. I'm not scared to say I'm an alcoholic. And I almost died from it. My mom used to cry because she said I was going to die, you know. And it's true, you know. Even my dad ran away from me. She come and camp with me one winter time, and I said, "Look at all those apples. Let's go pick some." You know, he got up and he left me. You know, he left over to I was dying. You know, I went to Galen and they fixed me up, and I said, "I'm going to try from my spoos, my spoos." You know, from my heart, I quit drinking. You know, I made up my mind. And all these guys I used to drink with, I'm not mentioning any names. They used to come and see me, let's go get drunk. I would say, no ways, It's hard. It was hard that I had to change my ways, And now they're all gone. It's hard. I had to make new friends, And talking about marijuana, I see that was on our list, Why? Why? First time they said it's against the law, Some people probably went to prison for that. Now they want to bring it back in, and saying, hey, this is good for you. But one thing I want to talk about a little bit is my wife here. She's Suyapi from Calgary. She used to be a nurse, giving out, worked in this in the hospitals. And a few days ago, last 2-3 weeks, I thought she was going to die. Her thyroid. Then she found out something on this, and she's got arthritis. She has pains all the time. And I took her down to Callus Whitefish, and she found out something to clean her blood, And they cleaned her blood and everything. It took about an hour or hour and a half. And she couldn't even hardly drive from here to Ronan. Then the next day, she usually sleeps until about 9:30, feeling bad again, don't feel good. When she went and got her blood cleaned up, next day she was up early. And last night I was talking to her. That was about 2 weeks ago. She was sitting here and she was touching her fingers. I said, your arthritis hurt? No, it went. It's not. It's there, but it doesn't hurt anymore. And she couldn't even close her hands all the way down. Now she could close it quite a bit. That's the thing I wanted to tell to everybody. About things like that. And she was in pain. No kidding. Now she drives up to Missoula. She drives up to Arlee. That it changed her life. But that's the thing is, she finally found out after 10 years, of suffering. And I'm only 3 years older than she is, But I wanted to tell you guys, there is a miracle someplace, And she's still holding up there, on this whatever, So anyway, marijuana, I don't go for it. And we were just talking about it last night, Last night, she said, well, there's many ways to could give it to you, and candy bars and this and that. No, I don't think I'll try it, I'm already crazy enough without it, So anyway, I wouldn't go marijuana, Lamb. I just want to tell you this little story about Juanita. She sweats with me, she drums with me, she dances, One happy lady when she's well, But now she's well. Lamb special.
Mm.
She's laughing in the other room.
Lemon, Steve. Stephen. Okay, I think that's all we have here. I can't see anybody else. Again, I want to thank the council for your time today, for listening to us. I know we kind of jumped off the trail here a couple of times, but it's just something that's on the elders' minds, so they share whatever is on their mind. Any questions for the elders or anything before?
Martin has something. Tony, hold on.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Tony and all the rest of the elders. I just want to make sure that you all know that, everything you guys say, I take very seriously. I was fortunate enough to be raised in a home that valued a lot of our culture, and thankful for the time I spent as a kid, around some of the elders that Tony talks about. And it's something that, now I coming full circle and coming from being that little kid running around camp or powwows or the culture committee, and to where I am now. And I just don't, I always remember that. I always remember, what I've learned from you guys, and even the short amount of time I spent down at the culture committee, splitting time between Lolo and there was really, life-changing. I think it really got me back to where I think I need to be. And so, I appreciate the time I've been able to spend with you just in the last few weeks, and we'll continue to do that. And, I don't take anything you guys say lightly, and, respect you guys more than anything. So, thank you guys all.
Good. Thank you, Martin.
Well, thank you guys. I've enjoyed the afternoon. I didn't see anybody falling asleep here. They were listening. So I appreciate you spending your time with us as well. It's good to be reminded. I hope someday we can meet in person again, as Tony was talking about. But right now, I think we need to keep ourselves safe.
Anita?
If you guys got any questions about what I was talking about, Juanita, you could call us 644-2359, and you could talk to her, and she'll let you know, Zamzams.
Thank you. I think there's a lot of people out there that could use something for the arthritis. Almost everyone you talk to anymore is getting it. It's a crippling disease and it hurts. So thank you.
Anita?
Martin?
And just one other thing, we do have these KN95 masks or respirators. If any of you elders need any, either get a hold of me, or maybe Tony could just shoot me an email. I know that the other thing, is being really careful right now. We just got the new numbers out for COVID today, and we jumped 80 cases in a few days, and I believe we're up to like 249 cases just in Lake County. So, we really need to, I've been pushing that a lot the last few days to, look out for our communities, and especially our vulnerable people, and especially our elders. And so, yeah, if you guys need masks or any kind of that stuff, please, let us know, and we can get that down to you guys. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. We'll let you know. Thank you.
Tony, Eva just joined. Do you want to see if she has anything to add?
Who?
Eva?
Oh, Eva. You got anything to add, Eva?
She might be muted.
Yeah, her microphone's not on.
And I think the other iPad might be Rita.
Rita, you there?
Yeah,
Oh, there's Eva.
I'm here. Finally.
You got anything to add, Eva?
Stop.
You got anything to add?
I don't know what went on. I just got out from the doctor.
Oh, did they send you a packet?
Yeah.
What sent you a packet was what we're supposed to discuss today. We're talking about a little bit about boarding school, any issue that you might have as an elder. Talk a little bit about the marijuana, a little bit about land recreation closures. If you have anything to say on any of those.
I'm not a very fast reader.
Well, if you don't, we can always add it to our next meeting with the council.
Okay.
That way you'll be a little more prepared.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll be meeting again sometime down the road with the elders, and you can share that too.
Okay. I could do that.
Okay. Okay. Rita? True, Mish. Okay, well, I guess not. So thank you, council.
Thank you. You guys have a good day and be safe.
You too.
We'll see you next month.
Haven't.
Mm.
Okay. ATV users are on road riding. Fines, loss of privileges.
What's that?
Save.
I believe that's it. Yeah.
And you guys are gonna get tired of this, but until our numbers get anywhere manageable, I literally can't remember last year when our cases were this high in Lake County. You know, so we definitely need to do better. You know, that's all I can say. You know, mask up, vaccinate, be smart out there. I mean, really truly think about who you are protecting. You know, we just got done with all of our elders, and you know, we've lost some of our elders because of this, and we don't need to lose any more over people being, you know, following a political agenda or not getting enough information to educate themselves on something that is so simple. You know, wash your hands, wear a mask, get vaccinated, you know, social distance a little bit. Very simple things. They don't inconvenience many people. Masks aren't the funnest thing to do, but you know, take it from someone that's had COVID. I'd much rather wear a mask than, you know, be back there and worrying that, you know, I infected my 83-year-old dad. You know, think about the people that are vulnerable around you, and please just do some self-reflection. Thank you.
Martin,
Thank you, Martin.
Martin,
Yeah, Mary Jane.
would you send me a few masks to the Esquimalt school behind the Longhouse?
I can do that.
Oh, thank you that much.
Una.
When do we get our third shot?
I'm doing a district meeting tomorrow night at 6:00. And we will be presenting, or I won't be presenting, but Tribal Health will be presenting on those very things, our booster shots, I believe. We can start doing those next week, but you can tune in on Facebook tomorrow night at 6, or you can come up to the chambers and get a meal if you want, Stephen. So 6:00 at the chambers if you want.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night at 6.
Hmm.
But it's also on Facebook, and I'll have it on Zoom as well. So you can get the information, or you could definitely come up. It's up to you guys.
Okay, are the boosters, are they Moderna? Because that's the 2 shots that I got.
I believe that they should have both the Moderna and the Pfizer. Obviously for Johnson & Johnson, I don't believe that those ones have a booster yet. But I'm sorry, I shouldn't be talking out of turn. I'll leave that to the medical professionals tomorrow night to answer those questions. And I'll try to gather the information also. So thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty, thank you, guys. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. If there's nothing else. Motion by Lynn. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Could I say something?
Oops. Go ahead, Stephen.
I want to talk about Nkusum just a little bit, you know. I know you guys don't have a quorum, right? But we're working on that Nkusum in the basement where the bowling alley is, you know. And I was wondering if you could help us out. We need a fence put up there, and we need a sidewalk for the children. Is that possible, or could I come back and talk about it some more?
Stephen, I think what you need to do is set up a time to come in and talk with the budget committee. Having Kusum come in and get on the budget committee, and then we'll put that request through.
Okay,
And it
that's all.
comes back to council.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Lemlems.
Mhm. Thank you all. Have a good